Well, good morning. It's kind of a dreary, breezy morning up by Barron's, Alberta today. We've had another 33 millimeters of rain over the weekend, which now means these fields have seen more moisture than they did all of last year, and things are looking pretty good. So for the most part, herbicide has been sprayed in a lot of these cereal fields now, and we're basically just watching for disease at this point and whether things need a growth regulator or not. This is a dryland field, so at this time we're not thinking about a growth regulator, but for some of the irrigation that may be important. Here you can see this alfalfa twisting up like crazy, and this was hit with Enforcer M. All right, here's some wheat that's about the 4th leaf stage now. We've got some nice lush growth. We're starting to cover over those rows. This field hasn't been sprayed yet, but it will be right away. But this is a good case for adding a surfactant into your herbicide. Something like Interlock will help you get better canopy penetration and get those small weeds coated and have the droplets stick to them. Didn't have the camera with me when I was out in this wheat field, but I brought a couple plants back with me. And this was a wheat field that was planted with untreated seed, and earlier in this year it was really struggling with wireworms thinning out the rows. And now the rows in the last week have gotten even thinner. And when I started checking to see why, I see these sickly looking plants start pulling them up, and they're rotted off right above the seed. So this is all common root rot, a little bit of Pythium, and yeah, not a good situation. I feel like I've kind of beat this topic to death this year, but this really is a case where seed treatment would have saved the day. Here's a canola field down by Colehurst, and this particular canola field seems to have a problem with a patch of chickweed. So this is all chickweed down here, and this is kind of a low creeping plant, but can really crowd things out if you don't take it under control, especially in cereals. In canola, it's going to be fairly easy to take care of. We're going to hit this with a shot of Roundup here this week and take care of this. And this canola is coming up into a really good stage to be using something in here like ATP Relief as well, which is going to give us a good shot of foliar fertility and really give a boost to these plants. Alright, I'm out here in a weed patch in a wheat field. This got sprayed 5-6 days ago with a product from FMC. This is the CS 100-2525 plus perimeter. So basically simplicity and barricade. And you can see these sow thistles here are not doing too terribly well. They're curling up, growing points are turning yellow, and they're going to start to show more symptoms in the next few days. And the kochia as well is really starting to show it. The growing points are all turning color. The leaves are starting to curl, as well as the lamb's quarters is pretty much doing the same thing. So we should see pretty good weed control in here. In the next few days, this is really going to start to become more visible. Here's some winter wheat from near Picture Butte, and this is looking pretty damn good. So down here right at the crown, we got our crown node, and then we got the first node there, and then the second node is right here where my thumb is. And then right above that we got another little node there that's still very tiny, and then the head is above that. So still a little bit of a space going on in there. So this is really going to start to pick up height in the next little while yet. Technically not quite in the boot yet, but flag leaf is emerged. Penultimate leaves, we are seeing a little bit of damage here. There was liquid nitrogen applied in here last week, as well as some pretty high winds. So we have a little bit of burning on some of the leaf tips, as well as some wind damage. But overall, looking pretty good. And in another week, you won't even notice that anymore. Just up by Carmen Gate, taking a look at the canola, and here I find this obviously sick and dying canola right in the seed row. So just digging around with my finger here in the seed row, what pops up with this nice big fat cutworm here. So need to check the book for this one, but he looks like, I'd say he's probably just a dingy cutworm, which is kind of a normal average cutworm. I'm not seeing any patches or anything out in this field, but just this one plant so far. But keep your eyes open for these guys. These guys can actually make patches in a field. I believe I just hobbled upon a little fawn. I think this is actually a whitetail fawn. So in these kind of conditions, the mother will be back for it. Best idea is to always leave it there unharmed. Don't touch it. Don't put your smell on it. Down by McGrath right now, checking out some irrigated durum. This is AC Congress, which is a new durum for this farm anyways, from Cantera Seeds, and so far it's looking great. We're just coming into stem elongation here. Overall still pretty clean, but there is the odd spots of disease on the lower leaves, and probably some of that is from wind damage that has now picked up an infection, but overall pretty minor so far. And this just got sprayed with FMC's Barricade a day or two ago, so there is some damage on some of these broadleaf weeds, but not too much yet. These canolas are just kind of starting to turn a little yellow and curl up. Well, here's a patch of wild oats. Just got sprayed with Centurion at the 30-acre rate last week. So the way to figure out whether it's being effective or not is you just grab that newest leaf, that topmost leaf, and just pull it out. And if it comes out really easy, literally just falls out, and the end is all pinched off like this one, then you know it's working. This field actually just got its Liberty in here yesterday, so hopefully that'll finish off whatever the Centurion didn't get. Well, my little plots by McGrath are looking pretty good this morning, so why don't we dig some of them up and see if we can see any difference in the roots. Alright, so here's the state of our plants right now. Over here we got Control, and these are looking not too bad. This is Humic Acid. Looks like we got a little bit more root growth, although bear in mind I didn't have a bucket of water to wash these off, so I was probably a little too rough. Humic Acid plus Catalyst looks about the same. Nature's Aid, I'd say we got a little bit more height on these plants. The roots look fantastic on these. This is the Lignajewel, and this is the ATP Nutrition. So these crowns look really nice and white, and we've got really excellent root growth on these. I would say it's probably, like when you look at these, I'd say this one's lagging behind, this one's looking really good, and so is the ATP. I would pretty much put these ones on even footings. These ones were 2 plots away from each other. But all out of the same seed row. Seeing some difference anyways. Well, this is a pea field down by McGrath, and it is looking just absolutely wonderful. We're in 8-9 node now, so we're not too far away from seeing these pick up some pretty good height, and possibly we might see buds in the next week or so. They're not, looks like they're about 3 nodes left before we got buds yet. Weed control in here is looking pretty good. This, of course, got Authority Supreme as a pre-burn, which kept the koch under control, and it's gotten Python in here recently, which has done a pretty good job on the mallow and the emerged wild oats. But we do have a new flush of wild oats are starting to come up in here, so we're probably going to have to hit this with Centurion here in a week to 2 weeks. Here's a cabbage plant that's completely loaded with flea beetles. These ones all look like they're crucifers. I don't see any striped flea beetles, but there's probably 20 or 30 just on this one plant here alone, so this is going to need to get sprayed right away. Surrounding field is canola stubble, so it's going to be high pressure, and unfortunately it's already too late for some of these cabbage plants. They are gone. Well, how's this for some nice looking barley by Lethbridge? This barley is just doing absolutely fantastic. So we're just coming into the flag leaf stage on this now, so flag leaf is just starting to poke its way out. Nodes are rising up the stem, and you can actually feel the head right up above that upper node. So things here are looking great. There's a few spots of scald on some of the lower leaves, and there's also just a little bit of net blotch starting in here as well. So grab that leaf right there. Here you can see them right there. So we'll have to keep our eyes on this and see if it develops. Might have to do a flag leaf application of something in here like Trivapro. Well, here's a nice looking winter wheat crop down by McGrath, and everything in here looks good at a glance, but you get in here and there is a fair bit of disease starting in here. A little bit of septoria, and there's tan spot, and it's all up and down through the canopy. Some of it is getting fairly high already, so we're basically just coming into flag leaf emergence here right now. So I think what we're going to do is wait another week or so. We're going to see what the stage of the crop is, and we will probably just hit this at flag leaf timing. Well, you can sure see a line in this field. This side I think got nothing. This side got Atrex on the corn, and you can sure see the difference here. This is on milkweed, canola, some kochia, some Canada thistle, and right here is a milkweed patch, and you can see it is not looking healthy. Atrex, of course, tends to work through the roots, so that is pretty much the best way to take milkweed down. So I'm hoping we get good control on it versus the stuff that's right here that looks perfectly healthy. And here's what happens to a pea field when you have Simplicity Go Dry hang up in your booms. It's not a pretty sight. Simplicity and yellow peas just do not mix. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you next week.